Welcome to BIFX 2018 and to Session 1 on Disruptive Trends, when we will discover why time travelers make the best CEOs.
Good morning. Well, thank you very much, Remy. Thanks for that introduction. Thanks to the LFA for inviting me down, and thanks to you for turning up to see today. Very distinguished audience we have here today. Oops. Right. Now, when I was asked to do this talk, I said to Raja, I've got two possible titles for this talk. He said, you know what, we're a generous people, he said, give both titles. So I thought, fantastic, thank you, Raja. We now have two titles for this talk. The first title is Faster Horses. The second title, Time Travelers Make the Best CEOs. I shall be explaining these in a minute. So as Remy said, my name is Will Higham, and I am a behavioral futurist, which means that I work with my clients. I run a consultancy called The Next Big Thing. I work with my clients to help them better understand what their customers' future needs are likely to be, to predict what those needs are going to be, what those expectations are going to be, to sort all of that, and to help them determine then how best to appeal to all of those in the future. And as you'll see, I do cover retail, but I also cover finance, I cover media, and so on. Because the same customer that walks into a bank, the same customer who walks into a shop, and so on. Customers have similar attitudes wherever they are. And I'm a behavioral futurist. Now, most futurists talk about technology. They talk about the future of technology. They'll put up lots of nice slides like this one. Somebody looking amazing, they'll say, you know, VR, AR, blah, blah, blah. They will talk about technology, the amazing things about how we'll have talking fridges and we'll be having shops up on the moon soon. And of course, technology is important. And John will be telling you some of the most amazing things coming through in terms of technology shortly. And it will be vital. If we look at so much of technology that's coming through, the Internet of Things, automation, so on, these things are going to be important, of course. But here, what we're going to be talking about today is disruption, disruptive trends. People talk about disruptive technology. This technology is disrupting this industry or that industry. Do you know what the most disruptive piece of technology is right now? Your customer's brain. Your customer's brain is what's disruptive right now. Technology does not disrupt. Technology disrupts your customer, and they think about that, changes them and makes them want to buy things potentially. It changes their needs, changes their expectations. Technology doesn't help them reach into their pockets and pull out money. What happens is the technology will impact them, and then after that, they will change their attitudes. They will change their opinion. The internet itself didn't disrupt shopping. What happened was the internet impacted it, make people realize, I've got some pain points around shopping, and you know what? This internet thing, it could potentially relieve those pain points, so they used it. If the internet didn't relieve any pain points, if people were happy with shopping the way it was, the internet would have gone the way of Google Glass or the Apple Watch. So it's absolutely vital that you focus on what the technology is going to do to your customers, how their attitudes are going to change, what their needs are going to be. That's where you need to focus. So how do you do that? How do you determine what your customers' future needs are going to be? How do you know what, in future, when you're putting your strategy together or you're thinking about the services that your shop should offer, your chain of shops should offer? How do you think about this? You know, if you're doing research around now, if you're doing research for things that will help you now, then yes. You can ask your customers and they can say, this is what I want right now. But how do you ask a customer what they're going to want in future? People say you can't, but you know what? I think it is possible, as we will see from here. Okay, does anybody know what this is? What type of car this is? Model T Ford. It is indeed a Model T Ford, one of the first ever mass production cars, created by Mr. Henry Ford. the chairman of Ford Motor Company, and also the father, in effect, of the car itself, the modern motor car as we know it. Now, Mr. Ford was an interesting guy, had lots of strange opinions on many things. But anybody who's involved in market research, is there anybody here who does market research? A couple of hands going up. Anybody who's in market research will know there is one thing that we hate Henry Ford for. One thing that we can't stand him for, because when he was asked, how do you come up with what people will want? How do you work out what your next model should be? How do you work out what this is? He says, well, there's no point in asking customers, he says. I can't ask my customers about it. If I asked my customers what they wanted, they would have said faster horses. Now, you know what? If I had been back in the day, about 1900, 1905, when he was doing this, here's what I would have said. If he'd come into me and said, those damn fools in research, all the people have said is they want faster horses. This is crazy. What are we going to do with that? And if I'd been a junior in his new product department, I'd have gone, sir, Mr. Henry Ford, sir, with the best of respect, that's actually a great insight. Faster horses? Do you know what? I know we can't give them faster horses, but my goodness me, why don't we give them something like a faster horse? We can't make our horses faster. Why don't we create a mechanical horse? Something that's like a horse, that's faster, that's a machine, that doesn't need feeding. Maybe put wheels instead of legs. Maybe call it something like, I don't know, a motor car. So these sorts of things, these insights are vital. These insights are great. So this is where we get to the bit about time travel. Because if you are looking to determine how to innovate, what the disruptive trends should be, what you should be doing for your customers, if you're looking to do that, then you have to project forward. The smart CEOs can project forward into the future to think, what can we create that our customers are going to want? What can we create that will fulfill the needs that our customers will have in future? The best CEOs or CFOs or new product development people will actually look to the future. And they'll go, right, we've got a new situation coming up. We've got a new need created. And there's, lots of people do that. They go, okay, yeah, that's how it is. The smart CEO, the time-traveling CEO will go, okay, here's the innovative solution. Here's how we're going to achieve all of that. And Henry Ford himself, he was, in effect, a time-traveling CEO. He may have dismissed the research, but he understood the insights. Back in his day, 1900s, what was the new situation? We were urbanizing. There was so much new technology which was creating big urban areas, which was creating cities as we know them, having gone from a rural area in America to a much more urban area. So what was happening? People had a new need. They had to get to places. Their work was farther away. It wasn't where they lived. It was perhaps in the next town. Where they ate was somewhere different. Where they lived, all of these places, they needed something to get there. They had a need, and the need was faster transportation, easier transportation. So what did Henry Ford think? He had an innovative solution. He time-traveled to the future to think, what will these people want? Let's create something they might want. So it's all very nice, this. You might think, yeah, it's a relatively interesting, it's a kind of bit of historical interest there. What does this mean for me? Well, let's look at where our new situation is. Let's look at what's happening right now in the world. Right now in the world, we are swamped with technology. People are feeling empowered. So much personal technology has really empowered people. It's empowered them. It's given them strength. It's given them power. They can do things they didn't used to be able to do. They can have an impact on the world they never used to be able to have. And that's great. But technology is also stressing people out. There's a lot of anxiety in the world. Much of it brought on by technology, but also brought on by politically what's happening socially, and so on. So yes, lots of anxiety going on out there. So many different things. The amount of entertainment that we have, we're constantly being entertained, we're constantly expecting entertainment. Everything about our expectations have been set up. This is the world we're living in now, and the world we're moving into, whereby there's going to be even more technology, even more empowerment, even more anxiety. So what does this mean? What sort of needs might this be creating in your customers, in the shoppers here? easier lives. This is the thing, isn't it, is that people don't say, you know what I want? I want this particular service. I want an iPad in the changing room, or I want this or that. What people say is, these are the things I want in my life. I want an easier life. And they need it now, because things are so complex. Increasingly, I say there's all this anxiety. They want things to make things simpler, easier, more convenient, quicker, things that fit around their lifestyle. And yes, they want more fun. Things are anxious. Of course they want more fun. They want things to make them forget about the world the way it is. They also say they're used to all of this technology. They're used to all of this entertainment on the go. There's no downtime anymore. People expect, wherever I go, I can have entertainment. So they expect fun. Everything has to include fun. They want fun, and they want to feel fulfilled. 3 of the key needs right now. Feeling fulfilled. We've got all of this technology. We've lost a little something. For a lot of people, we feel we need something more. So many more people now, if we look at the stats, we look how people are increasingly wanting to see something more in the world than what they have. It's not just about achievement anymore in terms of jobs and so on. They also want fulfillment in terms of their skill sets. The world is changing, so we need to be able to learn new things. We need to be able to gain new skills. And as a consequence of that, we're braining up, not dumbing down, we're braining up with this idea of being knowledgeable. It's really important, and we're really caring about that. So what is the innovative solution around this? What would the time-traveling CEO say would be useful for these 3 new needs? You know, it's not just about cheap anymore. It's not just about brands anymore. It's these 3 needs. What might they be? So if we look at these needs, let's look at where some of the retail time-traveling CEOs, time-traveling owners of retail are actually doing things now. They're creating easier lives for people. So how could a life be easier in a shop? If you're going into a shop, how could it be easier? It could be easier because you didn't have to try things on. That's a real pain point for people. We know that. So what could you do? You could have Adidas, for instance. They have a body scanner, so you can take that information wherever you go with you, and you can use that. You don't have to try things on. Or Revolve, who've got a fit trialer, which is something so you can, they say with our information, you can find out how close our clothes are compared to the previous clothes that you've bought elsewhere from different brands. Lots of things like this. We have ideas, again, coming through from these time-traveling CEOs, from Casper mattresses. Not only do you not have to try them out in the shop, you get 100 days to be able to try them at home. So you don't have to worry. It takes away some of that anxiety. It makes your life easier. So many ways to do this. The ultimate, in terms of try before you buy, is down here at the bottom, the new Muji Hotel being set up in China. Muji have created a hotel. Muji, the home and store, created a hotel in China that is fully equipped with only their products. So it's Muji soap and Muji baths and Muji tables and so on, Muji shampoo. Everything in there is Muji. So you go and stay at the Muji hotel, and my goodness, you know at the end of it which Muji products you want. You've really tried before you buy. How else do you make people's lives easier? You make them easier, for instance, you give them more time at home. IKEA, one of the ways that they've been able to succeed is because they had, because they created cheap furniture, and one of the ways they made it cheap was that you had to assemble it at home. But IKEA have done something interesting. They bought a company called TaskRabbit. And TaskRabbit is a company that lets people do chores. It's kind of the Uber for chores. So what they do is, if you buy something from a couple of the stores in California from IKEA, you take it home, you can employ TaskRabbit via IKEA, somebody from TaskRabbit to come in and assemble the furniture for you. These sort of things are great. Enjoy is another one, set up by the guy who set up the Apple store, Ron Johnson, a fantastic guy. He understood modern retail. And he said, with Enjoy, this company, Enjoy, what happens is they stock very few products. They just stock personal technology. What they do is they take it round to your home, they deliver it, and the person who delivers it spends an hour or 2 hours with you and plugs it in for you and shows you how it works. Just a lot of somebody's time, but my goodness, if that saves you time, you're going to pay through the nose for that. And then, of course, we have here the Foodery from Australia. Near the outback, the forecourt. Forecourts deliver typically just a little bit of food or a little bit of drink. This forecourt, because it knows that there's not a lot around it, this forecourt will do your laundry for you. It will do home food deliveries, meal kits, and so on. It understands. So much now, we haven't got much time, so what could we do? Ultimately, anything that gives us time to do different things, a one-stop shop of some sort. That's what's happening with so many of the malls now, rightly so. Any shopping malls now are becoming a one-stop shop, obviously not just for shops, but for restaurants, for eating, for living now. Increasingly, we have more malls that include living space, that include working space. So this idea of a place where you just go, it's a one-stop shop, you don't have to go anywhere else. Time is saved, lives are easier. And with the internet as well, with the two biggest e-tailers, Alibaba and Amazon. Again, this whole idea of how do we get the stuff? Do we have to wait in? We don't want to wait in at home. What do? Alibaba, brilliant. Alibaba has done a deal with the 6 million independent convenience stores across China to offer them great technology that Alibaba has developed for front of house and so on. All they ask in return is a little bit of signage for Alibaba and some links between those convenience stores and Alibaba. Again, just by offering that, they've suddenly got millions and millions of square feet of retail. And Amazon now, in Kohl's shops, Amazon now has lots of these small placements within Kohl's stores. So again, they've managed to get lots of square feet. You don't have to wait in for your Amazon parcel or for your Alibaba parcel. So easier lives. Another one which makes your life easier, we have here Stitch Fix, I apologize. So again, if you don't actually have time to go to the shop, these people will create a little group of clothes for you. It's like some of the vegetable boxes, the subscription boxes. What do they have here? They have a box they send you of certain clothes they think you're going to like, things you bought before. Here are some things like that, and you get your box of clothes. We have a company called MM Lafleur in New York that is doing that. They create what they call a bento box of men's clothes, because many men don't like to shop. Lots of these people. Amazon again, the Amazon Prime. Again, it's a box that comes, makes your life easier. You don't have to shop. Or here we have Wheelies 24/7. Another way to reduce your time is you don't need to check out. So much in China now is checkout free. Wheelies 24/7, open 24/7. You have an app on your phone. It lets you in the store. You can therefore go and buy anything. You click it, you buy, you walk out of the store. So much easier. And of course, with all of that, on top of all of that, we're going to have the most amazing technology. Of course, I'll say John will be talking about some of this in terms of what the Internet of Things is going to be doing in terms of AI, in terms of recognizing and pointing in the right direction. A lot of the technology is going to be saving you time. But more fun. Again, how could it be your job as a shop owner to say, I could give people more fun? Well, of course, what you do is you make the store experience much more exciting. Retail theatre, get it more exciting. Nike, a classic example here. They have basketball courts, they have football courts, they have running tracks within the store. You can try the clothes on and practice, you can have fun. Here we have Sports Direct with esports, video gaming in store. Story, which is a New York store. Every month they change the stock entirely. It's all themed. This one is themed by art. They have another one that's themed by animals. Every month the store changes. So much more that they're doing. And again, technology will come through with this. There will be VR headsets. The perfect place for VR right now is within shops, just given where the technology is. And finally, how do you make your customers, your shoppers, feel more fulfilled? Again, how can this be your job? Surely this be the job of religious leaders or politicians or your friends and family, but no, a shopkeeper can do this, a shop owner can do this, help people feel fulfilled. Enable them here. We have down here Lowe's, which is a DIY store, have an app. They have Snapchat videos on YouTube, lots of videos on how to increasingly, how to do your DIY. All hints and tips about that, skills you can learn. Many people are doing that. Sephora are doing it with beauty tips that you can learn as well. Sephora, the beauty brand. How else do you make your customer feel more fulfilled? You make them feel good about themselves. Echo Plaza in Holland, in Amsterdam, now has a completely plastic-free aisle. So if you don't want to buy plastic, if you want to feel good about yourself when you wake up in the morning and think you want to be sustainable, great, fantastic, you can go to Echo Plaza. They let you feel good about yourself. And finally here we have Lululemon, which has been great in terms of the events, the things they do in store. It's like a little community. The Lululemon shopper is a certain type of person. They've got this community. Lululemon have done the Sweat Fest, which is a festival where everyone learns about anything to do with exercise. There are clubs, nights, and so on. They now have what they call immersion. This is an immersion here in Java, where people go and they do yoga and they learn inner peace. Just because you are a shopper for Lululemon, you can gain inner peace. So this is fantastic. There is a way, all of these time-traveling CEOs, all these time-traveling shop owners know that if these are the three ways, these are the three new needs coming through, what can you do? There are so many other things you can do. For your shoppers, they might have slightly different needs, but this is the way. Think about what their needs are. So when you get back to your office, first thing you should do, commission market research to find out what your customers' pain points are, to find out what your customers' new needs are. And if your market researcher rather sheepishly knocks on the door with the results and goes, Sir, I'm afraid these people have said we need a faster horse. If they say that, put your arms around them, give them a big hug and say, that's fantastic. That gives me a great idea. Thank you.